Hello friends, in today's lecture we are going to discuss the Plasmodium vivax. It is the endoparasite and we all know this Plasmodium vivax is responsible for causing disease malaria, and it is very common disease in the tropical and subtropical regions of the world. This malaria is caused due to the protozoon endoparasite Plasmodium vivax. If you look at this organism, it is belong to the phylum Protozoa and it serves as endoparasite of vertebrates. Endoparasite means the parasite occurs inside the body and it is of intracellular type. Intracellular means it is present inside the cells of their host animal. Also, it forms the spores or infective body. Therefore, it is of sporozoan type of parasite. Infective bodies are formed during the life cycle of this Plasmodium vivax. If you look at some genera of Plasmodium vivax, there are about 44 such genera are present, among which the 4 species are well known, which causes disease malaria and its different form inside the human, in which the Plasmodium vivax is very common and its occurrence in such areas is frequently in the monsoon season. Now let's continue with our parasite. Here, if you look at the habitat of this organism, as I said, it is a microscopic protozoan parasite and it forms the infective body spores. Right? Here, it found inside the RBCs and liver cells or hepatic cells of its host, that is human. These are the habitat of this organism. Also, it is found inside the gut epithelial cells of its host and a vector, that is female Anopheles mosquito. We know the Anopheles mosquito is the spreading agent or the vector of this protozoan parasite. Vectors are the organism which carries or transmit the pathogen or parasite from one host to the another host and without getting infected by the parasite. Here, this female Anopheles mosquito is well known for the transmission of disease malaria and its distribution is more in tropical and subtropical region, because in such areas the heavy rainfall, humid atmosphere and several other environmental conditions are very favorable for the growth and development or to continue the life cycle of their vector, and without vector the life cycle of this parasite cannot be completed. Therefore, it is very important to study the parasite and its vector during the study of this parasite. Now, this is about the habitat. We know it is found in the RBC erythrocyte and hepatic cell. It causes destructions of RBC, and during that destruction it is the enterotoxin, that is humozoin, due to which we get the allergic reaction and the symptoms of malaria are seen. And also in mosquito it found in the gut epithelial cell or the small intestinal epithelial cell. It reproduces. The organism show its life cycle in 2 different hosts, that is human and second one is female Anopheles mosquito, in which human serves as the intermediate host. Intermediate host means the host animal in which parasite passes its premature stages or embryonic development or some developmental stages pass inside the body of host. That animal is called intermediate host. And the mosquito is served as a definitive host of this parasite Plasmodium vivax. Definitive host means these are the hosts in which parasite undergoes sexual reproduction or they attain the sexual maturity and produces large number of their daughter cells by sexual reproduction. This host is called definitive host. Here, female Anopheles mosquito serves that role. Like this parasite completes its life cycle in 2 different hosts. Therefore, it is a digenetic parasite. Means it requires two hosts to complete its life cycle, human and female Anopheles mosquito. If you look at the life cycle of this parasite, Plasmodium vivax, it can be divided into the three main phases. Like the first one is asexual schizogony. Second one is sexual gamogony. And third one is asexual sporogony. Like this, the life cycle of Plasmodium vivax is divided into three phases: schizogony, gamogony, and sporogony. And these three phases occurs in two different hosts, that is human and mosquito. Okay, let's continue with its life cycle, because it is economically important at the point of parasitological view. We can divide this entire life cycle inside the two hosts like this. You can say the first host, that is definitive host, is mosquito or female Anopheles mosquito. You can say the life cycle in mosquito or in definitive host, and in second you can say in human. Here you can write intermediate host. Like this, life cycle is divided. Now how the life cycle is get started? We know the parasite is get transmitted to the human through mosquito bite. The vector female Anopheles mosquito, the females are sanguivorous, that is they suck the blood meal of their host animal, because blood meal proteins are required for the growth and development of their embryos, and they are fulfilled by the blood of human. While males are plant sapsuckers, they remain in the vegetation, and during nuptial flight in vegetation they fertilize the female, and when female become gravid, at that time they come to the human habitat to find the blood meal. During getting the blood meal, they transmit the sporozoon or the infective body, that is sporozoites. This parasite is present in the two structural form, that is this is elongated slender structure, which is nothing but the sporozoid form of this parasite, which is get transferred during taking the blood meal. While the second form, which is unicellular structure, and it looks like a typical eukaryotic cell, and this form is called tropozoid form, which is the active form of parasite. Like this, parasite present in sporozoid and tropozoid form. Now how the life cycle is get started? Here the infected mosquito, you can say the mosquito with large number of such parasite, it is sporozoid form of parasite, when bite to human to taking the blood meal, of human, at that time these parasites are get enter inside the body of human. Now the entry of parasite takes place in body of human. Here sporozoids are now enter in blood circulation of human from the biting. During biting, mosquito has piercing and sucking type of mouth part. From the saliva of mosquito, these sporozoids enter into the bloodstream of human. After entering into the bloodstream of human, this parasite within half an hour go to the liver cell or hepatic cell for their dividation, or they start their first phase of life cycle, that is asexual schizogony. During this asexual schizogony, they form large number of their daughter cells in the form of schizoid, and this rapid multiple asexual division is called schizogony. Here, within half an hour, these porozoites are get migrated to this liver cell. We know the liver cell has polyhedral shape structure, and now these porozoites are get enter inside the liver cell. These are the sporozoites. These are the liver cell of hepatic cells, and this migration takes place within half an hour after the sporozoite enter into the bloodstream. In liver cell, they undergo a process of growth and development by consuming the cytoplasmic content of hepatocyte. Here, this parasite becomes rounded while feeding on this content of hepatocyte, and that stage is called schizoid. At the same time, they show rapid division by cytoplasmic and nuclear division and form large number of such small bodies into the liver cell, and these structures these are called as cryptozoites. Like this, the first phase of life cycle starts, that is asexual schizogony. Here, this asexual schizogony has 4 phases that takes place inside the body of human, that are namely, the first one is pre-erythrocytic schizogony. Pre-erythrocytic schizogony. Pre-erythrocytic means before entering into the RBCs. Then second one is exoerythrocytic schizogony, outside the RBC. That is, these sporozoites continue with this cycle, that is formation of schizoid and cryptozoites, and they are continue invading the fresh liver cell and forms this phase, that is exoerythrocytic schizogony. Then third phase of asexual schizogony is erythrocytic schizogony, and this is the important part according to the view of parasitology, because during this cycle the host animal is get suffered by the action of the toxins released by this parasite. Therefore, we are giving importance to this erythrocytic schizogony. And the last phase inside the human, that is post-erythrocytic schizogony. After completion of erythrocytic schizogony, the remaining cryptozoites or schizoids, they continue with the same cycle either in liver cell or in new erythrocytes. Like this, asexual schizogony is 4 phase. Now, this schizoid, after the formation of large number of such daughter cells, here the next phase of life cycle takes place, that is erythrocytic schizogony. Now, these cryptozoites are divert their life cycle. Some of the cryptozoites which enters inside the RBCs to continue erythrocytic schizogony, and this phase is called erythrocytic schizogony, where these cryptozoites are get enter inside the RBC and continue the erythrocytic cycle. While some members of the parasite, they are go inside the fresh liver cells and they continue with the same cycle in hepatic cell, that is exoerythrocytic schizogony. Here, cryptozoites second time enters in reverse. Like this, life cycle is get divert. Now, in erythrocytic pseudogony, life cycle starts as this parasite enters inside the RBC. You know, in RBC there is hemoglobin protein in which the globulin protein and the heme or iron content is present. Now, parasite start to modify itself and shows different morphological form in erythrocytic cycle. Here, first of all, it tries to grow itself and goes on consuming the cytoplasmic content of RBC. Here, all the cytoplasmic part after entering into the RBC, this parasite become rounded and start to consuming on RBC cytoplasm and become enlarged in size. And the active form of that parasite comes, that is tropozoid form. These tropozoids shows again modification, and next phase of life cycle it become slender and rounded with peripheral position of nucleus. At this phase, the maximum content of cytoplasm is utilized by this parasite by consuming that structure, and in return it releases the toxic substance, that is hematine. After the degradation of hemoglobin protein, here the hemoglobin protein is get destructed, and as a result of which the hematine toxin is released inside the cytoplasm of that fragile RBC. Here, this stage of parasite is considered as a diagnostic stage. That is, under the microscopic examination, this parasite appears as a ring-like form, and therefore this stage is called signet ring stage, which is the diagnostic stage of this malaria, and it appears like this ring-like structure with peripheral position of nucleus. After some time, the erythrocytic cycle is continued with the next modification in its structure, that is, the parasite become amoeboid form, and it shows the pseudopodia like projection which covers almost all part of the cytoplasm, and this stage is called amoeboid stage. Like this, parasite shows development. During this phase, parasite undergoes cytoplasmic division, that is cytokinesis takes place, followed by the karyokinesis or nuclear division, and the next phase of erythrocytic cycle is nothing but the release of chyzon. Large number of such chyzons are get produced by the dividation of this amoeboid form, and inside the RBC, all cytoplasm which is now empty is get filled with these small daughter cells of plasmodium in the form of chyzon. Now RBC is full with large number of such chyzon, and during this phase the hematozoin is the toxic substance which is released, and at the end of erythrocytic cycle or erythrocytic pseudogony, the RBCs get ruptured or burst, and large number of such chyzons are released inside the bloodstream. This stage is also referred as the rosette stage. Rosette stage means the chyzons are arranged inside the RBC as a bunch of flower, and they appears like a bunch of rose flower, therefore the name is given as rosette stage. At the end of erythrocytic pseudogony, this RBC is now get ruptured, and large number of such chyzons of this Plasmodium vivax are get released in the bloodstream or blood circulation of human. Here we can see RBC is get ruptured and large number of such chyogens are get released. Now at the end of erythrocytic schizogony, there is modification of structure takes place again, and some of the chyogen undergoes process of gametocyte formation inside the human body. Here some of the members of the chyogen undergo process of gametocyte formation, that is the sex cells or gamete cell from which gametes are produced further. They are of two types, and this division takes place by the unequal division of the chyogen. Here the larger size structure is called metacryptomerozoite, which is nothing but the female gamete of this Plasmodium vivax, female gametocyte of Plasmodium vivax, and the smaller one is called micrometamerozoite. Micrometamerozoite. Like this, some chyogen undergo process of formation of gametocyte inside the human body. Here, remaining chyogen now continue with this same cycle, that is, some going to the again in RBC to continue the erythrocytic cycle. That is, you can say here is chyogen will again continue to the new RBC, and this cycle is called post-erythrocytic schizogony. Like this, the part of life cycle inside the human is now completed. Now what happened after second time biting of mosquito to such infected human? Now human is infected with this Plasmodium vivax. During second time biting, inside the body of mosquito, we can say here mosquito sucks the blood vein for second time, and inside the body of mosquito now these gametocytes are released along with the blood of human, and we know they are of two types. This gametocyte, after entering inside the body of mosquito, now they are going from the intestine of mosquito into the open circulation, that is hemolymph. In hemolymph, they show structural change in their cytoplasmic content, and one become elongated slender like projections with rounded cytoplasm, and second one having these finger like projections and very short cytoplasm. Like this, these are nothing but the gametes of this Plasmodium vivax, in which micro and macro gametes, this larger one which acts as a stationary part or stationary phase of gamete, and it is nothing but the female gamete. This female gamete is called as macrogamete or macrogametocyte. This is the female. Why? The second one is nothing but the male gamete or macrogamete. Like this, inside the body of mosquito, now from gametocyte, two types of gametes are produced. Here, this gamete formation is followed by migration of that gametes into the gut epithelial cells, and during this phase the fertilization takes place, that is fusion of male and female pronuclei. And we know inside the body of mosquito this parasite resides into the gut epithelial cells of small intestine. Before that, these gametes are get fused and they form a diploid zygote. Zygote is the embryo, and the zygote of Plasmodium vivax is now present in hemolymph, is get enter into the gut epithelial cell. At that time, the stage is called as ookinase stage. This is the zygote after entering inside this gut epithelial cell of mosquito. Here we can see gut epithelial cells. Now the zygote has entered inside the gut epithelial cells and it shows further development. And during this process, this ookinase stage undergoes process of cyst formation and it forms oocyst structure. Here, this zygote undergoes process of formation of cyst, that is nothing but the oocyst. And this oocyst now continue with the rapid multiple asexual division, that is sporogony. Up to this phase, the sexual gamogony or the second part of life cycle has completed. After that, the zygote undergoes rapid and multiple asexual division to form large number of sporozoids. That part is called as asexual sporogony, and it undergoes this cyst or oocyst. At the end of asexual sporogony, this cyst become break, and from that cyst large number of such sporozoa or the spores of this Plasmodium vivax are get released inside the body of mosquito. You can say these are the sporozoids in blood circulation of mosquito. Like this, from oocyst, large number of sporozoids are get formed and they are released inside the blood circulation of mosquito. From there, they go to the salivary gland and remains inside the salivary gland cells. And when such mosquito bites to human to get the blood milk, at that time these sporozoids are again enter inside the blood circulation of human. Like this, the life cycle is repeated, and after 48 hours, every 48 hours, the toxins are get released in the form of hematine and hemozoin. These are nothing but the end product after the degradation of hemoglobin, and it releases the toxin which causes allergic reaction, that is chill and fever, shivering, or the cold stage, sweating stage and hot stage occurs. We know in malaria the person is get affected, the symptoms is shown by headache, malaria, then nausea, then it is followed by the high temperature of body, and person shows near about 104 degrees Fahrenheit body temperature. If the condition remains same or untreated, the patient shows anemic condition, because large number of RBCs or erythrocytes are get destructed during the erythrocytic cycle of that parasite. Therefore, anemic condition may also occur. Then, this chill and fever is followed by sweating phase, which is last for 8 to 10 hours. 8 to 10 hours, the patient shows sweating, and all these symptoms are resulting to the enlargement of liver and spleen, that is hepatomegaly and splenomegaly condition are occur during this phase of life cycle. Here, due to destruction of RBC, anemic condition occurs. All these symptoms are resulting to the weakness and ultimately the death of individual if it is remain untreated. This is all about the life cycle and pathogeny of this parasite. Now, how to stop the infection of Plasmodium vivax? Here, for the control of malaria, we have to stop the growth and development of this Plasmodium vivax by stopping its vector production. That is, the mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito, has to be destructed because it plays an important role, vector, or it also serves as definitive host. And this mosquito is the main source of infection which spreads the infection. Therefore, we have to control malaria. We have to control the mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito. How we can control this mosquito? Here, the control measure of malaria involves the 4 phase or 4 steps in which destruction of this vector, that is female Anopheles mosquito. Here, we can use different eliminating remedies for the controlling the mosquito, that is elimination of breeding place, then elimination of habitat of this mosquito. For example, mosquito laying in the water, stagnant water where the organic content is more, or household wastewater which is occur near about the houses or residential areas. Such areas should be clean or eliminated, or where there is the possibility by accumulation of such water, they should be clean or removed. Then destruction of weed or vegetation, because we know the males are hiding in such place, therefore such place has to be clean regularly. Then adult mosquito destruction, we can kill the mosquito by using several ways like use of repellents, then chemical traps, fumigation, etc. And we can control the mosquito in our area by using these different remedies. In second step, we can control the malaria by prophylaxis or preventive measures by following prophylaxis or preventive measures. These are nothing but some remedies that are taken to don't get the infection. We said prevention is always better than cure, like that. We can follow some remedies or prophylaxis to avoid the disease malaria, in which we can cover or protect our houses by preventing the entry of mosquito at the dusk time, because dusk time or at evening time the mosquito shows their this blood sucking habit. They come to take blood milk at such time. Therefore, we can protect our houses by putting the window covering, then some curtains or some electric traps or mosquito coil, use of repellents or bed nets, etc. in order to prevent the contact of mosquito and human. Then next one is treatment of infected person, in which we have to treat the persons with different anti-malarial drug under the observation of doctors. We have to treat the patients for the curing of disease malaria, because we know if the condition remains for long period of time, it will result into the death. Therefore, treatment of affected individuals should be there. And at last, there is a public awareness. In public awareness, we have to educate the people or our crowd in order to prevent the disease malaria, because all know in the countries like India or some underdeveloped countries, the large number of people are illiterate. They don't know about the importance of health and hygiene. Therefore, we have to tell them how the diseases get spreading, what is the role of mosquito, and we have to educate or aware the people for preventing such disease. Okay, this is all about the Plasmodium vivax and its disease malaria and about how to control that disease. Okay, thank you.